Hey guys, what is up? I have just come back in from hey guys, what is up? I have literally just walked into my house from therapy and I feel so much better. I am someone who has been against therapy my entire life until I found, like, literally at the perfect time, a therapist that truly gets me, and we just have the same sort of communication skills as far as he just gets it. And so now I'm like this huge advocate for it. I always think, oh my God, nothing good's happening to me. My prayers aren't being answered. But I honestly think my prayer was answered because it was just at the right time that I found this person. And, therapy is not an end-all, fix-all by any means. I put a lot of work into my physical health right now and like socializing and just all that other stuff besides mental health work. But it changes my whole mood. So like before I left, I was unshowered and I did that video and I was really upset. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be sexy. Me just being like, whoa, it's just kind of warm. To now just feeling a little more in grips. It's very much, I said this before, it's very much like church for me too. Every time I would go to church, I just felt more like, it was like a reset. So anyways, I've been thinking, I'm like, how am I coming back to YouTube? How am I going to continue to make YouTube videos? I obviously am thinking a lot more about my diet and stuff now. I'm focusing on like working out and stuff, but how maybe those videos are exciting. I don't know. I'm also not an expert at working out yet, so. And then I was just like, I don't want to be like, I'll always be outspoken. I think that's one thing, but I don't want to be that like crazy, unpredictable person anymore. And at the end of the day, like I do just want to be myself. And if that means losing views or losing relevancy or losing this like je ne sais quoi, right? This like it factor, then so be it, right? Like that's just, I'll have to find whatever's my next calling in life. And maybe this is the time to transition to something different. The bottom line is I truly do love YouTube. It is more than a job to me. I find it therapeutic to post, and even talking to my therapist today, like that is a form of therapy, when you talk things out. So it is very therapeutic for me to post and to talk, because I just talked for 80 minutes, but I could talk for a couple hours more, you know what I mean? And in turn, actually, I got an email. I won't say it from who, but I'll show you because I feel like everyone's always like, someone told me to. Let me cover up emails, but today at 1:44 p.m. it says, can you do a video on like your therapy? I'm more trying to cover up hers. It says, can you please do videos on your therapy journey, stuff you've learned and things that help be so interesting and helpful? So I thought, this was something, I changed the color again, 1 second. I thought, oh my God, this was something I had thought about anyways, because it's something I always talk about on my vlog channel, but I was like, maybe I can just do an extended version, talk about it on my main channel. Now, I am like obviously trying to figure out what my main channel, I've been trying to figure it out for a while. I've been really fortunate that people do continue to watch me. I'm very, very fortunate. And like I said, YouTube is not my priority income by any means. So it's not necessarily like, oh my God, if I don't make it on YouTube. But it is always sad when people fall off because you're like, oh my God, they were so killing it. So I don't know. I think one thing I've had has been authenticity, and the fact that has been up for judgment recently, that everyone is calling me a liar and manipulative. Those are two very, very harsh things to say when all I have is credibility online. Like my videos are my life, and if you don't believe what I say, then my videos become inauthentic. And that's, I think, the only whole reason that I've made it this long is I know it's my authenticity. And so I was explaining to you in therapy, I was like, my livelihood, my videos, which I love talking about myself and I love talking about my life and my journey, it just seems all for nothing because everyone's just going to call me a liar no matter what I say. I say I'm in therapy. As I'm sitting in my therapist's office across from my therapist, I say I go to therapy, and they're like, you're lying, and it goes to, and there was a couple things I got out of it. One being, he's like, one, you don't have to, it's not really your job to validate your life to other people. It's not my job here on YouTube to validate my life. Like I'll share my life, and if you don't believe it, then there's no point in following my journey. Otherwise, you're following a fictitious character with a fictitious life. I guess that's one way to look at it. You know, or you know, I give people the benefit of the doubt. And here's the other thing, because he said, even if you did break their trust, right? And he kind of laid it out for me, because I'm very honest. I'm very honest. There are things, obviously, I can't even share here today with you guys because of stuff that happened over the weekend and stuff that I'm very mortified by, and I'm just, and we were like thinking of coping mechanisms to not have a repeat of that. But stuff I wouldn't share in here, but you know, he said, you know, overall, as a therapist, like, you know, I care about you rebuilding your trust in you and you trusting yourself more than other people trusting you. But then he was giving me those. But like I said, I'm very honest. And so he said, okay, so if you had, let's say, oh God, there's so much to talk about. So I shared like I said, I'm very open. I share everything and like what I'm feeling. So my mental hospital story, not to like keep rehashing that, but, you know, I said out loud that I wanted to kill myself, and then I said I don't, but then I, you know, admitted to you guys and, you know, myself, whatever, that I really didn't want to die. And we had talked about this in one of my first sessions in therapy, you know, because I say that, I've said that a lot recently, and I'm like, I don't want to. And he goes, sometimes when you say that, it's like you want the pain to stop. And that's what it is. Because in the moment, I feel like I want to die, but I would never take steps to do that and never be like, well, let's just end it. That's just, I mean, not me, but I know a lot of people do, obviously, and like that's an issue I can't relate to and I can't speak on. But there are moments you feel like that because the pain is so overwhelming, and so you say it. Obviously, those are things you're not supposed to say or you shouldn't say, because like addiction or like health scares or health issues, everyone should take those things seriously, because it's a life or death situation, which I don't think anyone should ever question someone's realness. And so on that note, he goes, you know, maybe that broke some people's trust in you, right? Rightfully so. And, or, you know, I had this past weekend of Instagram stories, which I regret. I had a purpose. You know, I posted them because Friday night, I was genuinely scared I was going to die alone. I had these chills, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die here alone. And that's what I put out there. And so he's like, well, maybe people are taking that as, you know, maybe if you, he goes, if there's, and here's the thing, he was like, I want to destigmatize not wanting, I'm not trying to like quote this whole thing from him, because I'm going to give you my insight in a second, but like destigmatize wanting attention and needing attention. He goes, we all need attention. It's like a basic human need. Some need it more than others, and if you're not getting the attention, sometimes they cry for attention, and that's not always bad. If you do it too much, it becomes a little more questionable, and like, and that's more to the outside world. He goes, you know your authenticity, you know what you're feeling. And so he goes, so maybe by posting that, people are like, oh my God, she's doing this again. You're doing this. It's like people like to point out patterns. When in my head, I'm like, I'm just feeling alone, and sad, and just no hope. So I put that out there. So I actually thought, like, well, if I die here tonight, like, I hope someone would know, because I don't know who would. And also, I needed outreach. I reached out to a couple people that I normally do, but it just wasn't filling that need. And posting that, I actually fell asleep like right after, because I was out for the count. But Sunday night, I was really, really sad. And I prefaced Sunday night now to say that I was okay, because I think the thing I wish I didn't do, or wish I would have worded differently, was saying, like, you know, if I feel like I'm going to die alone tonight. And I think a lot of people maybe took that as something darker. And again, I'm appreciative of that, and that's not my intention. So before I started my sadness rant, which I also wish I didn't post, but I did, I said, you know, I'm okay. I will be fine. I'm just going to rant because I'm sad. So that's like a preface, so people, you know, that cared knew. And again, that got a reaction from a couple of people that I haven't seen in a while or talked to in a while, and they were so beyond compassionate. And like, I thought, overall, it's not a good look for me. I know this, but but I'm so desperate in those moments for attention and for someone to talk to that I don't care. Because someone actually responded that I knew, that I met once years ago, this amazing, like good looking, like well-to-do, like he's an actor, like he's like someone so far out of my league that I actually didn't even know followed me on social media or really even knew I existed or my name, to be honest. He sent me a DM and I was like, wow, like, and it wasn't a wow, like, wow, this is amazing. No, I was like, wow, like, this is humiliating. God, if he's been following me this whole time, like, he must think I am just a train wreck. And I expressed this in therapy today, and he goes, not everyone will think that about you that sees that, He goes, some people will have empathy and compassion. And I just got, some people will see themselves in that, and some people won't judge for that. And I don't. When I see people cry, I don't judge, and I don't think in the past maybe I would question the authenticity. And after all this, I can never do that again. Like if someone's crying, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're hurt, which I should have been doing. It's so stupid because you are so quick to do that to someone you don't know. Another good piece of advice in therapy is like self-soothing and the way you talk to yourself. I'm like, gosh, I really messed up my relationship, and oh my God, I feel so stupid, and I wish I wouldn't have done that. And like, you wouldn't tell a friend going through the same thing, like, wow, you are stupid. Oh, you shouldn't have posted that video. Oh, you shouldn't have called him. Oh, you really did mess that up. Like, good go, I'm talking to myself the way someone like on the internet that hates me talks to me. It's like, no, you should talk to yourself the way I would talk to my sister, which is like, it's fine. Like, if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. If it's meant to be, it would have been. Things happen for a reason. Things take time. You need to take this time to work on it. Like, that's the advice I'd give someone else. So you have to like start talking to yourself the way you would talk to someone else. And I'm like I really am the hardest on myself. I feel like people are like, okay, yeah, you like baby yourself so, like, no, I'm like super hard on myself. So just talking about all that, it's like, okay, so back to the point of the original, all this is people not believing me or questioning me or the lie. Like, I can't waste energy anymore trying to like debunk things. He goes, rather than wasting energy on something you can't change or you can't fix or you can't control, put your energy into stuff that, makes you happy, that's going to make you thrive. And videos is one of them. Like reading has been something I'm really into. Besides this workbook, I'm going to share something about this workbook in a second. But I've been reading like Howard Stern's new book. I've been just reading like a bunch of just different books in general. And if I have a really amazing one, I'll share it with you. I'm just reading a bunch of different ones. So reading has been really great. But yeah, so just focusing, and I want to try like yoga and that kind of stuff, like soul cycle, like I want to do that. So really like making the most of my alone time. And I do love making videos. I do love making videos, and like, take a break. And I don't buy that. Like some people might, but it really helps me to watch other people's videos to get, even like there's been a lot more nice positive comments, and it's because I truly am trying to put out positivity. And I feel like in order to get more of that positive feedback, I really am just going to try and keep putting out as much positivity as I can. And if I see something negative towards me, whether it's true or untrue, I gotta just block it. I really, like, out of my mind. You just have to in life in general. So, he said if that trust has been broken because people think you are doing this for whatever they're, they'll either leave and be like, I don't trust this girl anymore, or, over time, rebuild trust as you do in real life. I think it is like in real life. Like, you can either choose to rebuild trust with somebody in your real life, or you can say, hey, this person's not a good person. This person is someone I don't really want in my life, and, just cut each other out, distance yourself. Both are completely fine options. And same thing with here on YouTube and you watching me. Like, the amount of hate I get and the amount of people that truly genuinely like just are like, say they're disgusted with me, like, at this point, I would say, you can either stop watching, or I can just over time just keep putting out my own truths, which they are my truths. And you can either choose to believe or not. And at the end of the day, like he said, it's not my job to validate what you believe, to prove this is my life. No, I'm living this. Like, here, let me show you my feet walking into an office. Like, there's no way to prove a therapy session unless I'm like, hey, can you come on camera with me? Which is something I don't need to do. Just like in relationships, like I don't need to prove like anything. And I constantly was trying to prove something to people and to prove this person loves me, this person cares. Like, so, and that's going to be hard. That's going to be hard because when you have a truth and people just refuse to believe it, that's frustrating. But you can't really go by that. So, the other thing we discussed, which is kind of just a little bit off topic, and I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to harp too much on what we talk about that's like personal stuff, because a lot of people are like, we don't want to hear about this. And I truly don't want to put out any more negativity. I only want to put in positive stuff. But this other thing that really stuck out of my mind today, we were talking about external and internal locusts. I could be wrong. External locust, internal locusts. I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about this stinking thinking. Okay, there's like two things I feel like I'm going to forget. Let's talk about stinking thinking, which is a 12-step kind of like ideology, I guess. And my therapist isn't necessarily pro 12-step. He doesn't agree with everything. Neither do I, because I've been through it. Stinking thinking is like this, right? So I'm going to just say very generic because I don't want to bring up what I went through over this weekend. One, for judgment, for fear of lying, or also just it's very personal. But something happened and I was like, oh God, why did I do that? And he's like, he goes, first of all, that doesn't take away from the progress and the work of something else that was related to that. It's hard to say without the details, but that you already did. He goes, but for next time, do the stinking thinking process where you think about when you're all hyped and you're like, this feels right, this feels good, right? When you're about to do something that you think this is okay, and you like rationalize it and you're like, this is fine, this will probably be the response, it'll probably be fine. Start thinking about, and I'll think about this next time, right? The what ifs. What if you're not getting the response or the answer that you want? Or what if this doesn't work out the way you want it to? Or what if this is not in your favor or your best interest? Are you going to wake up feeling guilty and embarrassed next morning? Yeah, I've been there. Are you going to feel worse about yourself? Yeah, I spiraled. So now for next time, a couple weeks could pass and I could be in this hype mode. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this or whatever. It's fine. This seemed healthy enough. Think about like, okay. And just overall boundaries. It's so funny. A lot of this just ties into life. It's not even like relationship or even internet stuff, just boundaries. Someone, it's funny because it is a very parallel to my other drama in my life. It's not relationship related, but just as someone makes it clear that they don't want to talk to you, like, you have to respect those boundaries. As much as you're like, I really need to talk to this person, or that person owes me an apology, or whatever. And again, this is like a parallel because this is something else that's been happening online. People thinking they're owed something, or, someone stops talking to them. And it's like, if someone's made a pretty clear boundary, like, hey, like, I'm clearly not responding to you, like, you have to respect it, right? You have to respect that. You have to respect boundaries. And that's when the stinking thinking comes in, where you're just like, okay, well, and it's hard, but I mean, everyone has their issues, right? Everyone has their things they deal with, and it's just like, it's a learning process. So the other thing, the external and internal locus, I think that's like something you learn in therapy school or something. He was trying to explain this to me about giving someone else the power to make you happy, rather than you being able to make yourself happy. And I think that's a very simple concept, and it seems very easy. Like, yeah, of course, make yourself happy first. Like, but no, for me, he even said, he's like, think about like when you're the happiest and when you're like the highest in life, just naturally. And I was like, well, it's always been when I'm in relationships. And so he's like, okay, well, then think of something that's great. Maybe not as great as when you're in relationships, but equally as great when you're on your own. And I was thinking about music videos and performing and stuff. And I was like, so, I guess the point of all that is I've always given myself my happiness based on if someone will talk to me, if someone will be my friend, if someone will date me, if someone loves me. And like I can't snap my fingers overnight and just change that. And I'm not gonna lie, I dream about having another, just like, I'm trying not to cry either, because I do love watching videos a lot more when people are not crying. So I'm not trying to be emotional at all. Not on camera anyways. I think it's okay to be emotional when you need to be emotional, but for me personally, I'm trying. That's my goal. I do think about my next relationship, even though I know I need to be single for a while. And I know I have to wait. I can't be the pursuer anymore. I feel like I constantly was a pursuer in all my relationships, and I think it just needs to be that mutual attraction and connection to be like, yeah, let's do that, which I never had. I was always kind of pushy and kind of like, I need you, I want to be in a, not quite like that, but very, very much like, I'm into you, I'm in love with you, like, let's do this, which can be hard for people to say no to, but I think it needs to have that mutual, I mean, I know it does. Anyways, so I do think about, oh God, I can't wait for it to be in love again, and because I'm always going to be a hopeless romantic. I'm always going to love being in love, and that is truly when I'm happiest. However, I need to find that euphoria and that ultimate happiness when I am alone, because the reality of it, I should be single for about another year, but maybe longer, because you know me with my men choices, I'm so picky. Someone suggested the other day to go on dating apps. I was like, oof, this is not for me. I need to feel energy in person. I need to feel connections. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I did try to download Tinder again this weekend, and I was just like, this isn't it. This isn't going to be it for me. So, I don't know where I'm going to find Prince Charming. I'm still holding out for it. You know, I'm still holding out for love. I love love. So, it would be lying to myself and to you guys to say, like, I'm not thinking about my next relationship. I can't wait for that day, because I love, like, feeling safe and, like, cuddling next to someone and giving love to someone. Like, I have so much love to give, so I love just, like, holding somebody and, like, caring about someone's day, like, knowing I can call someone if I get a flat tire or whatever the case is. Like, I love that. So I do look forward to that for sure. But he did, you know, I give people in general too much power over my happiness, and like, I need to be able to be the one to give it to myself, and so constantly working on that as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Also, we worked on saying no. That's a whole other video. Because I have such a hard time saying no to people, clearly, which is why I end up ghosting people, because it's so uncomfortable. I have some people in my life that will constantly text me to hang out, and I think that's so sweet and so nice, because I'll be begging for a friend, and then a friend reaches out, and I'm like, okay, but not you. And that sounds so mean and so harsh. I even said that today in therapy. I said, that sounds so mean and so harsh. I said, but honestly, when I hang out with this person or these people, like, it drains my energy. And so he's like, okay, well, it's good you recognize that. He goes, so maybe this is what you can say. So one, it's not really ghosting, I guess. And two, there's like a clear form of like, I don't. Because I will always say, oh, I have a music video coming up, or I have, this, I got it. Like, I'm always trying to think of an excuse to not hang out with certain people. And sometimes the thing is, I am busy and I do want to hang out with that person. So it's just different people and different things. So if you're somebody watching this, like, there are people I genuinely do want to hang out with and I love hanging out with, that sometimes things come up, and then there's people that I genuinely don't want to hang out with, and I just don't know how to say no, because people can instantly turn and be like, you are a biatch or whatever. And that's not my intention either. It's just like, I do try and reserve my energy. I really, really do. So that was like the gist of therapy today. There was always a lot, and like I said, there's so many like personal things obviously that I wouldn't even talk about, but I try and share something that stuck with me or hit with me. I don't take notes or anything, so it's all just stuff that I process in my brain, and I'll share with you guys if you guys want, or honestly it just feels good for me to share. And if there's a few people, I'm sorry, because this could be there's no tea, there's no gossip, there's no tea, so it could be just trying to put out some positivity and some helpful information, especially if you can't afford therapy, or maybe you're just, dealing with certain things I am, as something's going to hit you. I've also been very disciplined lately. It has anything to do with the book, but Russell Brand has a really good channel, and he talks a lot about mental health, relationships, and stuff. And he had a really good video on discipline, so I'm going to link that below. Why you need discipline in life, and that's something I severely lack. I did severely lack. I've been really disciplined. I've been starting a diet that requires a lot of discipline, more for the discipline training. Weight loss is great, obviously, and also the mental health benefits I wanted from the diet, but it's a very restrictive, which I think is not really great when it comes to diets, but I needed that for my discipline, as well as not being weak and needing someone's communication or needing to talk to somebody. Like, I need to also be strong in myself. Discipline as far as not spending as much money, not shopping. So I got the food, the shopping. Discipline is like not reaching out to someone who's my security blanket, like all that. Going to work out as much as I can, like reading, making myself read. There's a lot of benefits to discipline and change too. So anyways, okay, this might be super long, so so this is one of the first day I went to therapy, he actually recommended this book. It's called The Anxiety Phobia Workbook. It's really long, it's really thick. You can see there's like a ton of like reading. It's not necessarily a workbook, but there's some stuff. It's more just like stuff you could do. And one of the first things, it's funny, it's like because I started reading it from the beginning, I was like, oh, I should probably just skip around more. I should maybe read the whole thing through. I was on page 20, and right away it said fear of rejection or abandonment, and those are two big things right there. Page 20. I guess that's a common fear, because I was like, both things, yes, that I fear. So it kind of talks about that in very briefly in a generalized anxiety disorder and current treatment. Where is it? Mindfulness practice and distraction. Okay, anyways, so mindfulness and distraction we'll talk about, because then that kind of goes with a breathing exercise on this page that I have bookmarked. But, okay, so this is so weird. This is so not me. So, like, the fact that I'm saying this sounds so crazy, because meditation is so boring for so many people. Like, it's so boring, but I'm someone who has so much chaos in life and also in my brain, more so in my brain than anywhere, that I need meditation. So, in the morning, I make a black cup of coffee, because, spoiler alert, I'm on keto. That's big of a spoiler alert, but I am doing a keto diet. So I have a big black cup of coffee in the morning, and I have my coffee, and I kind of just like sit in silence with my coffee. I don't look at my phone. I have my coffee. I drink it. It takes like 20 minutes. Okay, and then I meditate. So I've already kind of premeditated with my coffee. Now I meditate, where I go in like a quiet spot, and I don't know if there's like a right way to meditate. Actually, I don't even read that much about meditation. I'm not really sure. I've heard people talk about it. I just don't know the proper way to maybe do it. But this is what I do, and it's crazy. It's been helpful, and I hadn't been doing it as much. I've done it probably, like, full transparency, like 4 times, right? I'm gonna start doing it every day, because I did it this morning after I showered, and I should have done it first thing in the morning, because had I done it first thing in the morning, I don't think I would have made that video. I'm not sorry about that video, because I it's just not going to be who I am anymore. But like, I do think some people need to know, like, hey, this isn't okay, and maybe I need to do this in a collective way next time too, and maybe collect myself more. But it was just getting to be a lot. But that's the other thing he said too. He's like, don't be afraid to be outspoken and stand up for what you believe in. And I was like, oh, you're right. I just got to do it a different way. So I meditate, and I sit there. I just sit there. And the first time I sat there for an hour, I put a little timer. I sat there for an hour, and I was like, I wasn't listening to any tapes, because there's like meditation tapes you can listen to. I was like, I didn't really get anything, but I was like, hey, that was nice. It's a nice little quiet time. No, and I didn't think you really just gotta just focus on breathing. There's breathing technique. Oh, look at that. Second time I did it, it became more spiritual for me. It became more like praying about things I need and want. Third time I did it, I was like, okay, still nice. It was still calming, and I wasn't really thinking about anything because, again, it was early in the morning. Then today, after my shower, I'm just going to meditate. I only had like 30 minutes to meditate. So I just sat there, and this meditation was so nice. It was like, it was almost like I was hearing, it was almost like I was hearing all the stuff I had talked about in therapy today before it happened. Really, it's weird. It was almost like, because a lot of that stuff, I think a lot of people could be like, yeah, I knew that, or whatever, or that seems self-explanatory, or yeah, everyone knows that, or if you read a book, it could tell you that same thing. But it's stuff I never really knew or at least thought about. So like, I was already thinking all the thoughts they were saying is like, reclaiming my own happiness and not validating my truths to anyone but myself. Like, that kind of stuff I was already hearing. This is like really crazy for me to talk about, because I feel like if I were to watch this, I would be like, wow. Like, back in the day, I'd be like, okay, crazy. It was almost like I was hearing before, like I was actually, because I was really zoned out, that I wasn't thinking anything. I wasn't focusing on breathing or this or that. I was so zoned out that like these thoughts came in, and it was really crazy. I don't know, maybe there is something kind of, I don't know what the word is, but very clairvoyant about meditation. I don't know, maybe not. Who knows? Anyways. So this is an abdominal breathing exercise. So anyways, yeah, so you put, it's like so hard to like, it's basically like abdominal breaths, and you do it in slow, and then you like breathe out for 10, then to 9, then to 8. Does that make sense? It's also good for when you do catch yourself in the phobia mode. So my biggest fear is fear of abandonment, people leaving me. And it's almost like you start manifesting that. So, well, I know I have. I freaking have manifested that. So now when I start thinking I'm going to be alone forever, and then I also I reverse those thoughts right away, because I do believe in some sort of manifestation. If nothing else, yourself is like hyping you up for it. It's like, oh, you're going to live happily with love, lots of love in your life, more love than you could ever imagine. And and so also, this is something so different. I don't know where I was reading this, or if it was like a podcast or a book. I've been like consuming literally so much content lately, or just information. Focusing on what you do have rather than what you don't. I don't have a man, I don't have a boyfriend, I don't have a baby, I don't have a marriage, I don't have a house, like whatever. Like, I do have income, I do have food, I do have, health. I do have family that's all still alive. I'm so blessed for that. Like, Trisha, snap out of it. So that's kind of the ultimate also underbelly of it all, is like, focus on what you do have. And I do have a lot. And I'm thankful for all of it. But don't let anyone ever say you're not feeling something. You're not going through something. Whatever you're feeling is real. Your depression doesn't have to look like someone else's depression. Your struggles don't have to be as severe as someone else's to make it, validated. So everyone's perception is their reality. And when people do cry out and you think it's a cry for attention or they need attention, maybe they do, and that's okay. And if there shouldn't be a stigma around that either, of like wanting attention or needing attention. That's okay as well. I think when someone's hurting, like, there just needs to be a kinder. There is the oldest verbiage in the book, right? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And I feel that 100%. There are so many times I have the sharpest tongue. Man, I have the sharpest tongue. I have a quick temper that I have to control and all that. But I have been good at holding my tongue recently. There have been people I want to give a lashing to with my tongue. Like, I'm just like, and go off the way that people go off on me. But I, like those low blows and stuff, I've been over those for a long time, like going low. You know, I don't think that's a good look either. I don't think, you know, any of that helps anything. I think standing up for what you believe, especially when it pertains to something that's directly affecting you, or if it's affecting someone else and you're standing up for them. But you guys have to understand, or people, you know what? Let me rephrase that. I'm coming at you with my truths. I'm not coming at you with someone else's stories or someone else's traumas or speaking for someone else that's not here. I'm coming from how I'm feeling. Like, that's where I decided to go. I'm like, okay, instead of focusing on like, let me tell you about my heartbreak and my relationship, like, no, like, let's just focus, Trish, on what you're feeling and what you're going through in this moment now. And no one else, my family, no one else needs to be involved in the narrative of my life that I'm telling people on YouTube, that I'm choosing to tell people on YouTube, in hopes that, hey, if someone can relate, great. Honestly, that's all I care about. And like I said, I don't really know, like, I love fun videos and I want to get back to doing fun videos. I think there's, you know, I love doing silly videos and stuff, but that's not where I'm at right now mentally. That's not what's in my heart right now. So I've been up and I've been down on this channel and we'll see where this goes. But yeah, like I said, I'm always just taking it one day at a time. And yeah, I really do just enjoy talking, and I'm, again, fortunate that anyone cares to listen, because it is talking, and this probably could be really, really boring. I don't know. It probably is. But this is what's in my heart, and this is what's in my mind right now, and it's what I feel like I should put out, and I just want to put out, like I said, if I want positivity, I want to put out as much positivity. It's what I've been trying to do, and I'll just continue to try, because that's all I can do, and it'll be either accepted with positivity or negativity, but I will choose to see the positivity, and just keep pushing positivity out there. And I think that's what you gotta do. You just gotta keep pushing it and pushing it, because if that's what you want, I push love and I push positivity, because I want both of those in my life. I want love and I want positivity. You just gotta push it. And hopefully it'll come back to you. And I know it does. I put out a lot of good into this world too, and a lot of good has come back to me, so I know that is a thing. I also know I put out really bad into this world in my past, and that also comes back. So trying to put out that good and just keep moving forward on myself, for myself, and maybe someone else can do the same for themselves. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.